Good day, ladies and gentlemen. I will be your host today. My name is Miracle Fofana. Welcome to Stories of Passion, a place where we share stories. We believe that everybody got a passionate story to tell, and nobody can tell your story better than you. Today, I would like for you to join me in studio. I have a powerful, strong young lady. Her name is Semin, and she will be sharing her journey of how she overcame her challenges. Give me a minute as I join Semin to the stage. Good day, Semin. How are you doing?
Hi, Miracle. So happy to be here. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you so much for having me on Stories of Passion.
You are welcome. You are welcome. Stories of Fashion is so excited to have you too. Thank you. So I would like for you to please tell me more about yourself, where you from, how you overcame your challenges. Just tell me.
Okay, wonderful. My name is Simi Krishnan. I am a mother of two, and I live in the Chicagoland area. I'm originally from the UK, and I am, as you can tell, I'm not native to the UK. I am actually of Indian origin, and my parents migrated to the UK in the late 70s. So I had a very interesting upbringing for sure. I was the brown girl in the UK, and it was a very interesting way to grow up. I mean, there was a lot of immigrants at that time in the UK, so it was a very like a family came together. It was that we became family with friends that we had known for so long because we didn't have family. So it really became a community within a community within a community because we all just came together. And growing up, I kind of had this wonderful childhood. My parents were amazing. Society was wonderful. We had a very Indian culture living in the UK. Then I kind of migrated when I got married to the US. My ex-husband now, was in the US, and I moved here when we got married. And life has definitely thrown some challenges at me, and I have tried my best to kind of walk through them as opposed to evade them. And some of the challenges that I've had have been very very hard. And when I first moved to the US, I was here by myself. I didn't have a community. I didn't have friends. I relied solely on my ex-husband at the time, which was probably not the ideal way to live. I'm very social. I like being around people. I love stories. So I love speaking. And this was something that I didn't have when I first moved here. And it was very difficult to be dependent solely on one person. And when you kind of become solely dependent on one person, it kind of
Right.
sucks the life out of you because you have no one else to speak to. And I
Right.
realized very slowly, but very quickly also, if that makes sense, that this marriage
Mm-hmm.
probably wasn't the right fit for me because toxicity started coming out slowly at first and then more and more fiercely in ways which I wish I didn't have to experience, but I did. And I don't regret because I am where I am because of it.
Oh, wow.
Throughout my life, I had my daughter very early on in my marriage, but within a couple of months of my daughter being born, my dad passed away, which was very
Oh,
difficult for me because you're holding this new life in your hands, but you've lost a life that is so important to you, right? And then within
uh-huh.
months of that, I was diagnosed with stage 1 cervical cancer, which was
Oh,
very,
my
very
God.
difficult. So on the heels of like just giving birth and having this postpartum depression, like losing my father, being diagnosed, it was a very, very hard ordeal. And not really having the support of a spouse was even more difficult to deal with, right?
I can imagine that.
Yeah, it was a very tumultuous time, and I kept thinking to myself, I've got to push through. And to add to this, it's funny because I am actually a data scientist by profession. I work in data, I work in analytics, I
Oh,
work in like all things about making logical decisions with numbers. So for me, I kept thinking to myself, This is okay. We'll make a pros and cons list. We'll get through this. Toxic marriage, I've got this. Everyone has their cross to bear. This is mine. This is my pros list. This is my cons list. We'll get through. My dad passes away. Oh my God, this is so sad. But yes, I've got my baby. This is my pros. This is my cons. And I kept living my life like this, thinking, pros and cons, pros and cons. And I kept pushing myself through. And it was just such a tremendously hard and bumpy journey because I was
Oh,
relying on this like constant need to prove that I'm where I'm meant to be, even though inside I felt like I don't think this feels right. I just kept ignoring it. And, you know, as we went on miracle in my marriage, I got pregnant again the second time, but
oh.
unfortunately, my placenta burst during my
Ooh.
pregnancy. Yeah, and my son was born at 20, just shy of 24 weeks, and he survived for a week and he passed away.
Oh, I am so
Yeah,
sorry, Sammy. I can
yeah,
imagine the. Oh, I'm
it was.
sorry.
Yeah, it
I went
was.
through the same. I know
You
how
did.
it's like.
It's.
Yes, I had triplets and my babies died at 6 months. Three boys. Yes.
I'm so sorry. It's like miracle. It's like a club that you're a part of, a silent club. No one wants to be part of that club, but it's only us that understand what it really feels like. Because
Yes.
losing a child is like it's not just a loss, it's like a rupture in your body, right? You don't even know
Mm,
how to survive it, right? It's such a hard
yes.
thing to overcome. And so you can't overcome it really. It's like you learn to live with that sadness and you learn to move past that sadness, but it still stays in you. It never leaves, right? And you know
ex-
this.
Exactly. And I want to ask, like, how did you like when you was in this toxic relationship? Do you feel like at that time were you like did you find any means of getting out? Did you feel like
I
God
try,
I could have
it's funny
Mhm.
you asked that. I I I didn't. And you know why I didn't? Because I
No.
felt like I had to push through. Because I come from a South Asian background, and now I want to preface my parents never ever ever forced me to stay in a marriage, but nobody knew what was going on behind closed doors because I was married to a narcissist. He knew how
Mm,
he knew how to show people and talk. He knew how to portray our relationship as one way. And I also blame myself in some respect because I was an enabler. I allowed him for so long to treat me the way he did, and I didn't stop him. I enabled him to act like he was this wonderful husband on the outside because I didn't want
mm,
people to see that my life was a shambles. I didn't want that because I wanted to portray this perfect life and this wonderful like life I was living. And it's funny because, you know, from the outside, my life probably looked wonderful. I have a beautiful home, I have beautiful children, I have a
I'm happy
great
to
career,
see
I
it.
was very successful. So I don't want to like shatter that image and say that my life is hard, it's stressful, I'm in this abusive marriage. I can't do that because I wanted to. And it's so sad to say, but I feel like a lot of women do have that mentality where they're scared to step away from what's easy and um what everyone expects of them. Societal expectations play such a big role in our
Yes.
lives, and it's so difficult to step away from that. So to your question, did I try to step away? I wanted to, but I was really too scared. I was really too scared.
People encourage you to go?
No, because miracle, nobody knew how bad it was because I kept it inside for so long. And my mom and my sister did know because my mom used to come stay with me. My sister did. And they're like, "Why are you here?" I'm like, "I have to make this work. I've got a baby. I've got to make this work. I want to support him. He's not all bad." Making excuses, consistently making excuses for somebody. And I do blame myself, but I know it wasn't solely my fault. I know it takes two people to make a marriage bad. I'm never going to not
Right.
take accountability. I do take accountability, but I will not forgive myself in some respect for not leaving earlier and letting my kids see the way that their father treated me and for them to think that that's okay,
Mm,
you know? And that's a really important thing you say because that actually my kind of epiphany, right? When I realized that I have to leave was my body was really disobeying me. every time I was stressed, which was constant, I was in an 18-year toxic abusive marriage. It was constant. I was
Wow.
getting sickness after sickness after sickness. I got my first stage 1 cervical cancer. Then I developed epilepsy.
Oh
Then I
my
developed
God.
autoimmune diseases.
From
And
the toxiness of the relationship.
from
Oh my
stress,
God.
all from stress. I mean, obviously, I can't 100% blame it on stress. My body is obviously not as healthy as it should be. But why isn't
Right.
it healthy? It's not healthy because I've got so much going into it, right? And finally, Miracle, I had 3 strokes back to back.
Oh, really?
Yes, I had 3 strokes within 4 months. And
Within the marriage.
when I was in the marriage, and then when I had my second stroke, my first stroke was a mini stroke, my third stroke was a mini stroke, my second stroke was a major stroke. And when I had that
Wow.
stroke, my now ex-husband, who was still married to me at the time, did not come to my side. He
Oh
decided
my
that
goodness.
it was not worth it. He left my children and I alone to deal with the aftermath. And there was an aftermath. I was in hospital for many weeks. I was in rehabilitation. And all of this I had to deal with by myself.
Oh my goodness. I'm so sorry. What did your children say about this?
My daughter is very much a carbon copy of me. She's very, and she understands, and she has seen my marriage, and she saw the marriage deteriorate over time, right? She saw it like
Hmm.
initially I used to hide, then at home it was just so vicious, so vicious between us. And she saw it. So she was not surprised when I told her. She's like, why are you surprised, mom? Why are you surprised? And she's so mature, and I hate that she's so mature, because she saw her brother pass away at a week old. She saw this when I lost my son. She saw this consistent toxic marriage. She saw me go through so many illnesses, and she had to become mature above her years. So she was not shocked. I mean, my son, he's younger. He was very upset. He was very sad, but it's like now it's in a situation where like he and my ex-husband are still close. Still has what do you call it, he still spends a lot of time with my daughter. Doesn't really see my ex-husband anymore because she's very much a person that doesn't want to associate with things that have brought her down, which they have brought her down. And like, it's just been a very, very hard journey for my kids. And I see how they struggle. And that's why I feel guilty. I wish I did this earlier to get them out of that situation. But then I have a flip and I'm like, should I just have stayed till my kids went to college because it's easier for them? But then I go back again and say, but then I'm telling them that this is okay behavior. I can't do that. So it's such a paradox that you're in, and you're like thinking, what is the right decision? And the only right decision is what your heart tells you to do. I think that's what the biggest thing is. And that kind of, I talked about earlier about how I always use logic to make my decisions, right? It's always like, this
Right.
is my pros, this is my cons. And as I kind of was going through my trauma, I realized that I've been ignoring my instinct for so long
Mm.
because I've been relying on like numbers and hard facts and pros and cons lists. And where did that get me? To the lowest point of my life, when I'm lying in this hospital bed and I'm
Oh my
realizing that
God.
I'm in this horrible marriage. And I developed this framework for myself, which I has really helped me. It's called the triad of thought. It's like intellect, instinct, and the integration of the both. And what that
Wow.
does is, it's like we shouldn't be focusing on just using our intellect and logic to answer questions. We shouldn't even be focusing on just our
Hmm.
instinct. We should be learning how to integrate logic with intuition to
Oh
create
wow.
decisions
Yes.
that make sense. And trauma informed brains are really difficult, right? Because we make decisions to survive, right?
Exactly.
And
So
how do we shift that? Sorry.
do you think if you were to get out of that relationship earlier, you think that life was going to be okay for you, your health was going to be fine, your children was going to learn something way better?
Maybe. And I say maybe because I don't think I was strong enough to leave until I was strong enough to leave. You know?
You were because of love.
I don't even think it was love. I think it was fear.
So if I'm to understand what you're saying, you was basically in this relationship because you're thinking on what the world would say, what people would say about you. But the feelings of love was not there.
No, love disappeared a long time ago. There and honestly, I don't even know if it was love. Like I feel like I had conceptualized what love and marriage should look like, and I married somebody
Hmm.
that's what it would be. And within weeks of getting married, I realized that this is not what it was. But I've got that attitude that I have to make this work. I'm married. My parents spent a lot of money on my wedding. I have to make this work. Right. And then when you have a kid, it's even more so. You want to make it work. And yes, other people's opinions I was a people pleaser. I was an absolute people pleaser. And I did
Ah.
not want people to see me fail, which is so sad for me to think about now because my life may have been better. But Miracle, let me tell you, until you reach rock bottom, right? And
Mm.
rock bottom is where I realized that no, I am not doing this anymore.
Wow. And
Right?
what did he say?
He was blindsided. He's like, "What's wrong with our marriage?" I'm like, "Are you kidding me? Like,
But
are you
he had to
kidding
tell
me?"
what he said.
And it's funny. And then, but the problem is, right, when I told him that, he acted blindsided, but then the viciousness started. And we have been divorced for coming up to 2 years. We've been separated for 3 years, and it's still
Mm.
so hard. It's still so hard because he has so much resentment and contempt against me that it's really difficult to move away from it. And I think that's the biggest thing about being in a relationship with a narcissist, specifically having children
Mm.
with a narcissist, right? That level of control and them wanting to control you never goes away, ever. It never goes away.
Wow. And over the years since you left,
Mm.
do you think your kids right now, because I've listened to a lot of stories,
Mhm.
people say that, oh, kids grow up, follow the same footstep of their parents. Do you think, looking at how your lifestyle was with their father, do you think any of your kids will want to do that or not?
Get married?
No, I mean like being abusive and violent, like fighting. Did you talk to your kids about that?
Yes, we did. And that's one of the things I said to my kids the first time when we got divorced. I said, look, I want you to understand that the way this marriage is not normal. This is not the
Hmm.
way a marriage is supposed to be, right? I'm moving away from this so you can understand that you cannot treat people this way. It's not okay to treat people this way. It's not okay to take away people's freedom. It's not a way okay to like let people believe that they are not worthy, right? And take away
Right.
their every single aspect of them. This is not okay. And I spoke extensively to my kids about this. And it's a very delicate situation because I am not going to put their father down regardless. My relationship with him is different than their relationship with him. So that is never
Right.
a line I would cross. Like their relationship with him is their relationship with him. But for my daughter, she saw a lot of things she shouldn't have seen. So
And how old is she?
she's 17.
Oh, okay.
My
Oh
daughter is
my God.
17, so she saw a lot of things she shouldn't see, and she heard a lot of things she shouldn't hear. And so she's made her own decisions. And like I said, she's very mature, so she's made her own decisions. My son is, like I said, very attached to his dad, which he should be. It's his father. But I really ensure that I do not muddy the waters by like telling him he knows nothing about our marriage. He still doesn't understand about a marriage, right? He doesn't
Yeah.
understand how bad it was. He knows we fought, of course, but he doesn't understand the intricacies. But that narrative that I taught them that, people need to respect each other. If an ego comes before understanding if the other person is okay, that's when you need to step away. If you're in an argument and your main aim is to put the other person down, your main aim is to prove that you're right, you need to step away, right? That nobody deserves
Mm.
that, whether it's your partner, your child, your grandparent, your friend, your coworker, whatever it is. Once you start putting your ego above someone else, that's when
Yes.
a relationship is deteriorating, right? And that's what
Mm,
they saw, because it was constantly, I'm right, no, you're right, no, I'm right. Now, so it's constantly, when that pull is there all the time, it's very
mm.
hard for children to process that, right? And understand, like, what's
Wa-
happening? What do I do? Is this right? Is this wrong? So that narrative was very important for me to teach them.
Wow, you are so strong, Sammy.
That's so nice of you to say, Miracle. Thank you. I don't think I'm strong. I think I have learned. I think I've learned, right? And I think that's I yes, I am strong. I do think I'm resilient. I do, and I so appreciate you saying that. But I think
You're
also
welcome.
life has thrown me so many curveballs, right? That it's just, what's next? What do I have to do with next? What's the next thing that's gonna
Exactly.
come, right? So
You, will you ever get married again
no. I don't
because of that?
I don't think so. I think I have been so trauma struck by marriage that I never want to get married again.
So wait. You saying that because of one person in the whole world, so I don't know how many billions of people in the world, just because one person, you're not gonna
But
get
so,
married
okay.
again.
So this is a really interesting topic, because I do think I'll date again. I do think I'll be in a relationship again. But the
Okay.
concept of marriage is not something that I truly think I believe in anymore. Because I think
Why?
I will definitely be committed to someone, absolutely. But marriage itself, to me, I think creates a lot of expectation and creates a lot
Mm,
of like unnecessary complications. That doesn't mean I won't be committed to someone. I absolutely will be committed to someone. Like, I believe in love. I'm a romantic. I'm an absolute romantic. So regardless of all of this all of this terrible these terrible things that have happened, I believe in love. I believe in soulmates. I believe in kindred spirits. I do. And I have 100% faith that I will commit and find a relationship that I want to be in. But marriage, I just feel like it's such a, because I'm divorced and I'm still going through issues. Do you know what I mean? It's like, and
I know
it
what you're
just
talking
feels,
about.
yeah, the legality behind it is what stresses me out. Like, I will commit to somebody if I love them. And I only truly believe that I will be in a relationship with somebody when I feel that instant connection. I don't believe in boxes being ticked, Miracle. And I know that sounds crazy. Like, when we're younger, like you're in your 20s, you're like, oh, I want this, 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 this. No. I want someone to make me feel the way I want to feel. It's not about how do I love him? No, it's how does he make me feel about myself?
Right.
Right?
Right.
And I think that is,
Right.
if I find somebody that makes me feel the way I want to feel about myself, and even better, I think that is what is going to make me want to be in a relationship.
Well, let me ask this question. I don't think I asked earlier. So, how long were you and your ex-husband dating before you got married?
About a year?
A year?
Yeah. But
And you
also
think,
remember, I'm South Asian. Arranged marriages are very common, right? I didn't have an arranged
wow.
marriage. We met and we got married within like about maybe between about 8 months to a year. But it's a very typical timeline for South Asians. Like, that's actually longer than typical.
And you guys met in the US.
No. So that's another interesting story. We actually met way back when online, back in 2006, and 2006, yeah, something like that. And he was from India and I was from the UK. And I think that
Oh.
also had a lot of I mean, I for me, I wanted to be with someone that would be my biggest thing is being someone that's kind, right? And being married, being in a relationship with a narcissist, it's very easy for them to portray a different version of themselves until they can't do it
Mhm.
anymore. And the person that
Oh
sees it the
my
most is their
God. Oh my God. Sammy. So, I will say this again. You are patient. You are strong because most people that are going through this situation, like you said, you was not there because of love. some people would say, I am here because of love. I'm here because of my children. I'm here because the benefits. But you said you were here because what the world would say. And now, go
I
ahead.
think what the world would say is, but my yes, my kids too. My kids, I think it's my kids were the grounding factor of everything. Like my kids are literally my world. My kids are my world.
I
Like
know.
I would like lay down my life for them. Like I would do anything for them, and they know that, and they know I'll always prioritize them. And I think that my biggest fear is, I think I mentioned before, right? Should I have left earlier? But then that would be harder for my kids. If I left now, is
Mm,
it bad for my kids because they don't see a dad? It's like that was a whole dichotomy in my brain, thinking like that logic. Remember, I told you, like I kept logically thinking, like it's logically, is this the right thing? Yes, I was a people pleaser. Yes, I wanted to make sure that I didn't upset the apple cart. I want to make sure, we had, because when you get married, you have this dream of what your life's gonna be. You have this amazing, wonderful idea of like, love and romance and kids and how like, it was just wonderful.
right.
And we had all of that. We had the beautiful house, we had the beautiful kids, we had successful careers, but we didn't have love.
Hmm. That is deep. I, no, I wonder sometimes how can people be in a relationship and don't love that connection, because I believe that love the one that brings people together.
And you are so
But
right. But let me tell you something, like I feel like women in my generation, I'm like Gen X. Like in my generation, a lot of so okay, I'm gonna ask you a very profound question that a friend of mine once asked me, which actually
uh-huh.
triggered my thought process of divorce. She said, when you got married, did you get married because you were in a relationship, it makes logical sense, this is the next step? Or did you get married because the person you were with, you could not imagine your life without? Why did you get married? And let me tell
Hmm.
you, Yoko, 95% of the time, people will answer A. It's a logical next step in my relationship to get married.
Right, right, right.
So that doesn't mean love, that means logic. That doesn't mean that, sorry, go ahead.
But you know what I learned? I learned that people fall in love. And I learned now that these days, anything that fall, it breaks. So
Yes.
instead of falling in love, it's better to grow in love. You
That I
getting me?
absolutely agree with that. Absolutely agree with that.
Yes, you might meet somebody today, you don't like them at all, but just by talking to them. And I want to go back to like the Bible, the scripture that said, love is kind, love is patient. And I believe it says, love is peace.
Mhm.
So, being that there was no kindness in that relationship, there was no sense of, concern, so it's like it takes everything out of love. It's like a love without a foundation, a love without bones.
Yeah, and it's just hollow. It's just absolutely hollow. There's nothing there. It's just a love to show the world that we're in love, but there's nothing inside.
Mm. Wow, wow, a love. You got it all right. I'm telling you, a lot of women going through this, and they don't even know how to find the answers. They don't know how to say it. But some of them think they are in love, but they are not. That's why when you say marriage is a committed thing. Marriage, it has to be with mature people who are patient. Yes, because marriage is a lifetime thing. So I will continue to say this. Like, you don't know how many people are going through this, and your story gonna inspire them.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I mean, I just hope that, like, I feel like I have done things differently? Maybe, but you know what, Miracle? I love where I am right now. I am the happiest I've been in my life. I am so fulfilled. My heart is full. My children are
Hmm.
thriving, right? My children are thriving, and I wake up every day ready to take on the day. I don't wake up
Good.
scared. I
Good.
don't wake
Good.
up worried. I wake up happy. And that is like,
Wow.
to me, that peace and that fulfillment I have, I could never get, I can't get that from another person. I have to get that from myself.
Right. Right. Not even your loved ones can give it to you.
No, it has to be from me. It has to be from me. And I've been on this journey for myself for years now. And I'm never going to be, and I'm never going to finish this journey. This journey is continuous, right? I have to keep feeding myself with love and affection. And I need to talk to myself the way I want someone else to talk to me. Because if I talk down to myself, if I degrade myself, then what do I expect other people to do? Right? If I don't respect
Mm.
myself, like I look in the mirror and I think, you, Simi, are the one that you're spending the rest of your life with. You are married to each other here, right? So you need to love
Wow.
and respect yourself if you want somebody to love and respect you that way.
Right. Right. Exactly. And
Mhm.
I want you to what inspiration can you give to young women right now? What advice? Women that have been out there in the same situation. What's your advice? What's your encouragement?
That don't worry about what anyone says. Everyone is
Mm.
always going to have, everyone is always going to have something to say. Whether you do something good, whether you do something bad, people are going to have comments. You do you. Do what makes you feel right. Think about what your heart is telling you, because we forget that so much when we're in these trauma like infused situations. We forget to listen, right? So listen deep inside you. You know the answer. You know what you want. Weigh it out. Think about it. Think about what
Right.
you want. Think about what your instinct is telling you, and make decisions that come from here and here combined. Don't just
Right.
focus. Don't focus on the outside world. Focus on you.
Right. So like choosing a peace over validation.
Yeah, really. And like, I really believe, like, one of the things I believe, which has been hard for me because I've had very low self-esteem for a long time, and it's been taken a long time for me to build it up post my marriage. But talk to yourself the way you would want someone else to talk to you. If you look at
Mm.
yourself in the mirror and you say something horrible to yourself, how would you feel if someone else said that to you?
Right.
Like, you are the, and I keep, like, I think, and I say this to my kids too, you are the person you're going to spend the rest of your life with. Who do you want to be? Who do you want to be
Mm.
for yourself? Right? That is such an
Right.
important thing to think about.
What's about seeing the red flags? Do you think if they see it right away, they should get out or try to make it better?
I think I don't think anyone should stay. No one should stay in a marriage that is not right for them. I made decisions I shouldn't have made. I wish I didn't. I don't believe that you should stay ever in a relationship that makes you feel that it's not right for you. If you start doubting yourself as a person, you need to either talk to that person, and or you need to walk away. And if there's any kind of abuse, no, you do not stay. Absolutely no. You
Mm.
are worth so much more than that. You are an amazing human and you have every right to your life. No one has a right to put you down.
Right. And some people believe that there are different kind of abuse and they can handle it. Like I tell people, verbal abuse. Do you think verbal abuse is better than physical abuse?
I don't think either are better than the other. I think they're as bad as each other. Physical abuse, you can see the marks. Verbal abuse, it sits here and it ruins you here.
Mm. Mm. So you think once verbal abuse gonna lead to physical abuse? Do you believe that?
It may not. Like, it's completely, I think every relationship is different, but I think verbal, when people say verbal or psychological abuse is not as bad as physical, I don't think that's true. That breaks you down in ways. Physically, you may heal. Mentally, how can you heal? You need to
Mm.
walk away from a situation, right? You need to
Mm.
get clarity. And that's kind of why I always come back to look at yourself in the mirror. How are you letting
Mm.
people talk to you? How do you talk to yourself? Are you okay with that?
Right, right. But some of the relationship stories I listen to, that most men, it says that sometimes it's the woman that starts the abuse before it leads to the man. So when you talking about like abuse, are you also referring to the women too that even they
Yeah.
shouldn't be abusive? Okay.
No, I think once you're disrespecting a person you've said you want to spend the rest of your life with. Why are you disrespecting? That goes back to, remember I said, when your ego comes above the other person's feeling, right? So I think couples fight. Couples should fight. Fighting is normal. Fighting is cathartic. Fighting helps. But it's the way you resolve your arguments that tells you how mature and how valid the relationship is, right? If an
Right.
individual is so adamant to prove that they are right, their ego is more important than understanding how their partner feels. I'm not saying
Mm,
you let things go, I'm saying you work through them. The way you resolve an argument is critical for a successful relationship.
right. And I want to ask this question. In your relationship, right? You say your ex-husband was an Indian, right?
Yes.
So do you think like he was a traditional man that believed that woman doesn't have any voice? Women needs to be quiet?
It's funny because yes, but no, because I was much more successful than him in my career. So I was definitely the higher earner in the house. And I think that did bother him. He never voiced it, but it did bother him. But post our divorce, I see it, the misogyny. I see the lack of appreciation for women, and I see the hatred as well towards women. So to your question, while we were married, I was blind to it because I was trying to make it work. But as I stepped away from the situation, I was able to see it much clearer. So yes, he was, but I never saw it.
Mm. And you think that some of it might lead to the toxic relationship?
Yeah, 100%, 100%. And I also think I think that the way, and I don't want to just say this in the Indian, the South Asian community. I think it's really based on the way that you grow up. How do your, like, what is the way, what do you see when you're growing up, right? Because when I was growing up, my parents had the most beautiful, loving relationship, right? They were
Mm.
very understanding. They loved each other. They had an arranged marriage, but it was they were so deep in love, to your point, right? They grew into love, right?
Right. Wow.
It- so that's what I saw. So that was my expectation when I got married, right? But then what my
Right.
husband saw was obviously very different to what I saw. And he brought those values in. I brought my values in, and then you knock heads
Mm.
because I have an expectation, he has an expectation, those expectations don't match. And that very rarely comes out before you get married, right? When you're living together day in and day out, that's when those things come out.
Exactly. The first year of dating, people hide themselves.
Yep, they do.
As they say, it's the
Yeah.
butterfly moment of relationship. Until you get married, you get to know who that person is. When they're angry, when they're sad. Like my mom always tell me, if you cannot see how a man get angry, do not get married to
Yeah, that's such a good point. It is. It really is. But the funny thing is, Miracle, I did see there was a lot of red flags before I got married, but I ignored them because I
why?
wanted to get married.
Oh, it was all about you getting married. You just wanted to be that married woman.
I think so. And like now I reflect, I mean, I'm 45 years old. I got married like when I was in my 20s. And like I look back and I think that I had this whole expectation of what it was going to be, and I was so excited to be married, and I was so excited to fall in love. And I'm, like I said, I'm a romantic. Like that was my, I loved it. I loved the thought of being wanted, being chosen, being valued, right? And it was just like, so
Right.
you jump into things, and like this is something,
Hmm.
as I grew older, I realized that, wow, why didn't I think about this more? And that's one of the reasons I say I don't necessarily believe in marriage, because I think there's so many connotations associated to it. But it doesn't mean I don't believe in commitment or being in a committed relationship. I absolutely do. But again, I may change I may want to get married one day. I don't know. But
Exactly.
yeah, I mean, I have no idea, but like the way I feel right now, I feel like I love love, I love relationships, but marriage is something that I think may not be right for me
at this moment.
at this moment. At this moment right now.
Right. Because never say never. You must
Yep,
be
you
a
can't.
count.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can never say that because I never thought my life would end up this way. This is like never how I imagined my life to be, but I am so happy I'm here.
Wow. Will you ever advise anybody to walk out of a relationship, even like if their parents or whoever told them not to leave because
Yes,
it was so toxic?
absolutely. I mean,
We
it's hard. It's hard when you don't have support. I agree. It's very difficult. But you're the one living your life, not your parents. And there's so many toxic parents out there too that also care. And again, I'm talking about like the whole what will people say? What will society say? Right? That's a whole concept a lot of parents have, right? And I'm not sure if you're familiar, but in India, there's a lot of honor killings and like arranged marriages and
right.
forced marriages and child marriages. So that kind of toxic environment is very common in the Indian community. And I if someone wants to leave and their parents don't support them, they will find someone to support them. There's so many groups out there. There's so many like organizations, and there's so many ways that they can find support. But staying in something that is toxic and abusive is never the answer, ever.
So even if it's because of their children, will you choose your peace over your children's own?
Well, that's a twofold answer because I think your peace directly affects your children. Because if you're in an unhappy marriage, how are your children at peace? Because they're seeing an upset, sad, and destroyed mother. When you're at peace, you can be a better mother. When you're at peace, you
Mm,
can give more to your kids. When you are already emotionally drained from being in a marriage that's not right for you, in a toxic and abusive marriage,
mm,
how can you give when you haven't got your pot isn't even full? How can you give?
mm. That's touching. Most people won't do it. They will
Yeah.
say because of my children, because
Yep.
I'm glad that you say that because
We can't hear you. Sorry, I think
sorry,
we
I
lost
lost
audio.
audio. Hold on, let me see if you can hear me. Can you hear me?
Okay, I can hear you now.
All right. So I was saying, how can you be in a relationship, with your children going through a lot, and then you don't want to choose, you don't want to let go, all because of your children?
I think you've got to take a moment to introspect, right? Because I stayed because of my kids. I stayed because of my kids, but my what were my children getting out of me being in this marriage? They were, like I said, they were seeing a relationship where there was constant anger and there was no happiness. It was fighting and anger and toxicity and abuse. What is that giving them? Is that giving them peace, stability? Like, what kind of peace and stability is that? Teaching them that this is okay. Walking away from that, my cup is full, right? I am able to be the best mom I can be to them now because I have so much to give them.
Freedom.
The freedom and the liberation is just something that no one can give you. Like, that is something you have to give yourself.
I am so happy that you have this peace right now, the
Thank you.
strength. You are welcome, how you overcame your challenges and everything. It's just so remarkable. Sammy,
Thank
you
you.
don't know how strong you are.
Thank you so much.
You
You know,
are
it's funny
welcome.
because I've got to show you, I've got a tattoo that I got done here which says resilient.
Oh, I love that.
Yes, I got that right here. And it's like, and it's just, it means a lot to me because I look in the mirror every day and I see that and I'm like, that's who I am. I'm resilient.
That is so powerful. I really, really love your
Thank you.
story. Gonna help a lot of people.
Thank you.
And
Thank you so much.
you're welcome. And before we wrap up, do you have any other words of motivation to give to people out there? Any
Yeah.
encouragement?
Just one thing I want to say to everyone is just don't forget that you matter. Yes, of course your kids matter. Of course your family matters, but you matter. Because I think we forget that. We forget about ourselves. We forget that we are just as important as other people. And if we don't have peace, and if we don't have happiness, and if we don't have an overflowing cup, how can we be the best versions of ourselves? So don't forget about
Right.
yourself. Don't forget about yourself. It's so important to remember that.
Oh my God. I love that advice. It's so touching. Never forget about yourself, regardless of what.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good. I love it. That's
Yeah.
a great advice.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you so much. And before one more thing, is there anything like you want Stories of Passion to do for you as you share your story?
Sure. I actually have a upcoming book that I
Uh,
just finished writing. So I'm going through the publishing process right now. I'd love for you to share about that if possible. And also I have my own website. I talked about my framework, the triad of thought, and I have
uh,
my own website and I offer a lot of coaching, not from a clinician standpoint, but from a lived
uh,
experience standpoint. So I think that's what separates me. I am not a psychologist. I don't have any clinical background. However, my lived
right.
experience is what I use to help coach people and help
Uh,
them through these situations.
so are you like a what kind of coach? Marriage coach?
No, just trauma informed.
Or
Yeah,
trauma?
yeah,
Oh, awesome. You have
yeah.
the book with you?
The book is not out yet. It's going through the publishing process. It's called The Stories We Tell Ourselves.
Powerful. The
But
story
I
we
can
tell.
share my website with you, and if the book will be coming out later this year, so there is a tab on there where you can get join the wait list. So as soon as the book's out, you can it will come to you.
Awesome. But what's the name of the website as we on this
So
show?
it's
Just
www.thetriadoffthought.com.
awesome. Definitely. So if
Okay.
anybody want to get in contact with you, they can pass through Story of Passion to
Yep.
talk to you. You don't mind, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right. Thank you so much. So everybody, this is Samin. She is originally from England and she based in Illinois, Chicago. She was so happy and excited to share her story. If you want to get in contact with her, Stories of Passion, get her information, and you can learn a whole lot from you. She can explain her joining, how she went through it, how she overcame. She might be a great help in case of anything. Thank you so much, Sammy.
Thank you for having me, Miracle.
You're welcome and have a good one.
You too.